You know, in the West, a lot of us look to astrology to kind of figure ourselves out. But over in Korea, there's this entirely different system, a really profound way of decoding your life's blueprint. It's called SaJoo, and today we are going to learn how to read the code. So let's just start with this question. Is your destiny something that just happens to you? Or what if it was more like an operating system? A personal code that, once you understand it, gives you the tools to navigate your own life with way more awareness and purpose. Okay, first things first, let's get one major thing straight. SaJoo is not about fortune telling. This isn't about predicting lottery numbers or when you're going to meet the one. Think of it more like a really sophisticated analytical tool. It's a way to map out the fundamental energies you were born with and to see the patterns they create throughout your life. So if it's not fortune-telling, then what exactly is it? Let's get into the fundamentals. This is where we start to see the actual structure of your personal cosmic blueprint. The word SaJoo, it literally means 4 pillars, and you can think of it like a cosmic timestamp. It's a snapshot of the universe's unique energy at the precise moment you came into the world, based on 4 key pieces of data: the year, the month, the day, and the hour you were born. These are your 4 pillars. So how does this work? Well, it's actually pretty systematic. You take those 4 pillars, year, month, day, hour, and each one is given 2 characters from an ancient calendar. One character represents the energy of heaven, Chang'an, and the other represents the energy of earth, Jiji. So 4 pillars times 2 characters each, that gives you 8 characters. And that is your SaJoo Palja, your 8 characters of destiny. It's a completely unique energetic signature just for you. All right, so you've got these 8 characters, but how in the world do you read them? Well, to do that, you need to understand the language they're written in. And this is basically the operating system of the universe in Eastern philosophy, yin-yang in the 5 elements. So the core language here is Ohang, the 5 elements. Now, we're not talking about literal wood or fire. Think of these as 5 fundamental types of energy that make up everything in the universe, including your personality and your life's journey. And the most important thing to get is that these elements are never just sitting still. They are always interacting. This interaction happens in 2 main ways. The first one is called Sang-Sang, the cycle of creation. This is a really beautiful, supportive flow of energy. And it's super intuitive, right? Wood provides fuel for fire. The ash from that fire creates earth. Deep in the earth, you find metal. The cool surface of metal can gather condensation, which is water. And of course, water nourishes wood. It's a perfect, self-sustaining circle. The second cycle is Sanguk, which is usually translated as the cycle of control. Now, at first glance, this one can sound a little harsh. You know, wood's roots break apart the earth. Earth dams up water. Water puts out fire, fire melts metal, and a metal axe cuts down wood. It sounds like a lot of conflict, but that's a total misunderstanding of what's really happening here. Exactly. This is the key. Sengyuk isn't about destruction. It's about balance. It's about healthy tension that creates structure. I mean, think about it. Without earth to contain it, water would just flood everything. And without a job or some kind of responsibility to control our energy, a lot of us would lack direction. This cycle is all about the checks and balances that make a system stable and functional. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This is a fascinating ancient philosophy, but what does it have to do with me today? Well, this is where things get really wild. Let's talk about the bridge from ancient medicine to modern tech. The most obvious connection is in traditional Korean medicine, or hanihak. For these doctors, the 5 elements aren't just an abstract idea, they're a core part of their medical training. They literally map the body's major organs to these energies. So good health is seen as a harmonious balance of these elements, and sickness is an imbalance. It's a way of treating the body as this amazing interconnected system. So we've got this ancient cosmic code. It explains the cycles of nature, it helps explain the balance within our own bodies. But the connection goes even deeper, into a place you would absolutely never expect. Seriously. The foundational principles behind this philosophy, they also power the very device you're using to watch this right now. Your computer, your phone, their basic logic shares a stunning parallel with this ancient way of thinking. Just look at this. The fundamental concept of yin and yang, that duality, well, that's a perfect mirror of the zeros and ones in binary code, which is the basic language of all computers. But it gets crazier. In the ancient I Ching, you combine yin and yang lines to create 8 fundamental symbols called trigrams. That's 2 possibilities to the power of 3. Okay, now think about computers. The fundamental unit of information is a byte, which is made of, you guessed it, 8 bits. Again, 2 to the power of 3. It is the exact same mathematical principle. Mind-blowing, right? Okay, so now that we see how universal these principles are, let's bring this all back home, back to you. Let's look at your personal cosmic blueprint and the 10 core energies that shape it. These are called the Sipsing, and what they are basically is a map of how the 5 elements in your chart interact with the one element that represents you. These interactions get sorted into 10 core aspects of life. And we're talking about everything here: your core identity, your talents, your relationship with money, your career path, and even the way you learn and receive support from others. And it goes even deeper. The same system, called Yukjin, also maps directly onto your family. So, for example, that energy of knowledge and support we just mentioned, that often corresponds to one's mother. And the energy for career and responsibility can relate to one's father. It becomes this incredible tool for analyzing the dynamics that are woven into your personal life. Now, it is really important to acknowledge that this way of looking at the world is very different from other belief systems. For instance, if you come from a Christian worldview, which is based on a single sovereign God, this idea of decoding a cosmic blueprint might seem like superstition, or maybe even like trying to know things that are meant only for God to know. The Bible even has warnings against divination. And look, the point isn't about which is right or wrong. It's simply to see that there are fundamentally different philosophies about how destiny and our place in the universe work. And that brings us to what is probably the single most important takeaway from all of this. It's about shifting our whole perspective from prediction to preparation. It's a roadmap, not a prediction. I love this quote. SaJoo is not a crystal ball. It's a roadmap. It just shows you the terrain ahead. Is the next part of your journey going to be like climbing a steep mountain that requires a lot of effort? Or is it more like a peaceful valley that's perfect for growth? Knowing the landscape doesn't take away your free will. It just empowers you to pack the right gear for the trip. So when you boil it all down, SaJoo is so much more than superstition. It's a deep, analytical system built on a coherent philosophy of the universe. It's a tool for self-discovery, a framework for understanding your life's patterns, and honestly, it's a huge piece of the amazing cultural heritage that gives us the K-culture phenomenon we all know today. So I'll leave you with this final thought. If your life, your personality, your talents, if it all has a kind of operating system that you were born with, what would you do if you finally understood the code? What possibilities would open up for you?